A quick visit bottom is very effective because you get the summoners and then you can try and reset to your red quadrant, but Karsa's gonna race him.
I'm a little bit sad Peanut got level 3 because normally it is a level 2 gank that Clearlove will pull.
An 11.1 for Uzi, who has been CS per minute leader in the tournament long. And then Prey, of course, not far behind. We've seen that Varus into Ezreal's second matchup this time, and a lot more pressure on Prey's shoulders once again.
It's true, but Prey did come out on top last game, got that first bot lane turret, and also had very strong impacts in teamfights, as you can see with the damage percent. Obviously, Peanut is looking for gank number 2.
In addition, I would think that, okay, well, let's see if Xiaohu gets out of this one.
Let's take a look. Decimating Smash from BDD is actually not a lot of mana for him to work with. Sanguine Pool will buy some time. Igniter's burning flash forward. First blood to RNG. Peanut manages to get a chomp down on Xiaohu. And BDD will not be able to chase. Actually gets one zombie smash down. First blood to LPL.
Xiaohu just has ice in his veins, plays it so calmly there, baiting them in. As soon as you see that Predator pop up over your heads for Kingzone, they gotta know that they've been had.
Perfect timing, though. We talk about Xiaohu coming into this game, how he is such a superstar also for RNG, despite us mainly talking about Uzi normally, and then he gets to play Vladimir mid, and he gets the first kill.
Kobe, how did it happen?
Take a look here because Peanut waiting in the brush is going to move up with the Trundle, and as I said, it's dangerous to overchase into the side lanes, so they put this ward down, but then as soon as Predator pops up, Peanut starts to back away. He knows BDD is in a very tenuous situation.
And nothing BDD can do on the way out with the zombie. In the end, first blood for RNG, not in the lane we expected it, because normally with this Vladimir, you're not getting early kills, and Sign typically never dies in lane.
Yep, definitely an aggressive move, well punished once again by RNG. We've said that so many times, them punishing the mistakes of Kingzone, and here it does give them some early game control.
Also controlling the bottom lane here with Ming on his range support. So that is also a change from the last game with Janna being back in the lineup.
And also so important, Ming holding on to his flash from that very, very early gank. We saw in the previous game how flashless targets were picked on and punished. Now that was Let Me and Khan primarily. This time around, both of them on these top lane champions that want to scale. Not the most exciting 3-6, but now Stand United's up for Let Me. We're going to have that cannon barrage for Khan. They will start impacting the other lanes.
It is very, very true. Kasa is looking for something else. Nope, he just wants to go back to base. That's okay as well. You don't have to perf gank when you're not level 6 on a Skana. Mingdo also, not only with the laning phase where he's going to be very useful. GP, Trundle, and Sion on the other side. 3 champions where Ming's ulti can be huge. Of course, the GP can land the barrels from range, but typically in late game fights, you want to get in and get an auto 2 off with crits. That is something Ming can prevent. So Kingzone might actually struggle reaching Uzi, and RNG could also struggle reaching Prey on the other side.
Yeah. Meanwhile, during the laning phase here, we have the double teleport bottom once again from Kingzone as Gorilla uses his spellbook to switch over there and get back to lane. Uzi and Ming continually trying to harass them, though, and keep them low, whittle them down under this turret, and keep that pressure.
4 teleports in total on the side of Kingzone. Looking at 2 for now on the side of RNG. Xiaohu can swap to that later. As it stands, small CS advantages for every lane on RNG. Plus 10 for Let Me, plus 10 for Xiaohu, plus 11 for Uzi. And that's giving them this 1,500 gold lead with the addition of First Blood. And Khan's going to be the recipient of a dive.
Predator is ready, and Xiaohu is roaming up. This is going to be a 3v1.
There is so much damage to come down. The Impale will come out. I'm looking for the oranges. Gets eaten, but it is not okay. Xiaohu 2-0.
Yeah, this mid laner here getting the first blood, then moving up to get another kill in the top lane. Khan's CVs aren't full down, so he will lose all these minions. Also use his ulti. It's not available for fight here.
Shen ultimate definitely ready here. They could Stand United. Ming's fishing around. They don't have any more vision left, though, as Gorilla puts down the control ward.
Wisely backing away. Xiaohu made it to mid lane. Let Me just about to finish the recall, and the mountain's interrupted.
That right there is why for 6 years we've been saying, go to the source of the global. Gank the global, because once they kill Khan, they have an extra man advantage. Even though they spent 2 people roaming to the top side, Let Me with his Stand United available could threaten on the bottom side and dissuade them from doing that dragon.
They ganked the global and they ganked for the global as well on the side of RNG, and it was very, very effective here. Shen is doing well. Let me have to blind pick it and realize there was a high chance GP would show up, but GP's for late game. Early game here, RNG can keep this push. Bot lane, they're winning with the Janna. Top lane, Let Me has been controlling it, and Zhao, who is now 2-0. Kingzone at the moment, they're losing everywhere.
They're down 2,000 gold, Deficio. RNG with another strong opening to the matchup. Let's see what Xiao can do on this Vladimir, because as you mentioned, he is the recipient of the kills. He is the champion and the player that needs to find the flanks and could be game-changing as we get to those team fights in the coming 10 to 20 minutes. For now, just go back to laning phase, 10 minutes on the card. Shirelia's Reverie just completed by Charlotte.
Yeah, and with so many globals in this game, the cooldown tracking is so important for both these teams to try and see if you actually have that window to pull off the play. Because look at the map right now, there are barely any wards, none of them deep, because there are so many possible answers here with global abilities.
So I want to see what BDD once he gets the banner completed. Dematerialize is almost gone from Xiaohu's side. I think he could have saved 2 of the stacks. Seeing as Sign loves to rush the banner command, and that's one of the ways you get push in your mid lane and can start moving to the sides. But BDD has not been able to do it so far. Let me, that ulti is ready, Kobe. Are we gonna see it bot lane?
Definitely a possibility. Right now he's got his hands full with Khan, though, in the side brush as he takes a shot in the face. Peanut, though, down bottom might be the one to actually draw out that cooldown.
Yeah, that definite possibility becomes an absolute possibility.
I'm glad it's possible.
Decides to engage. I didn't quite see whether or not Uzi or Ming spotted him walking into the bush, but looking at the river, Pass is making his way down as well. Ming with a very, very good flash.
He was ready for that Deficio. You talked about in Champ Select. I know that you have felt the pain of being killed as a support in bottom lane by a Varus ultimate. Ming not taking his chances, flashes out of the way, and is able to escape certain death.
So now, next time Prey's ulti is ready, they can try and do it again, but Letme's ult should be there and can come down to protect Ming. So it is hard for Kingzone to snowball that lane, and now it's Karsa starting Drake.
A third game in a row. Karsa gonna slip in here and try and get this first Drake. He's got the Skarner Spire, the extra attack speed working away, and since Xiaohu has control of mid lane on the Vladimir, it's an easy rotation for RNG.
The only positive for Kingzone right now is that Khan is farming. He didn't go for Grasp on the GB like we've seen other people do because he knows this late matchup is fine for him. So he goes for Klepto, tries to get as much gold income as possible. But right now, he's the only member we're looking at and can say this guy's actually doing fine. Everyone else, they're behind and getting pushed in.
Oh, I'm helping, I'm helping. How many teleports will this be? Tavawa comes out from Gorilla, and look, instant reply from Kingzone. It is cancelled, and I got too excited too early. Kingzone able to escape with that Tom Kench.
So Karsa did not want to ult back Gorilla here, not knowing exactly how many people TP down, but they might set up a tower dive.
All right, Gorilla and Prey, they're sticking around. Khans can still join the fight if he wants to. That's a flash forward from Xiaohu. Gorilla's Grey help will buy some time with the transfusion. Will be enough to take down Prey. And it's Uzi that kills Gorilla.
Oh, and it's the little tiger who starts off the dive. Xiaohu is able to make the play again. Proactive use of this Vladimir. Shirelia's Reverie gets him in place, but Peanut wants to play a cross-map play.
All right, let's take a look. Letme's got flash available to him as well as that dash. Needs to get away, but will sidestep. Dash for now. Roar of the Slayer comes out. BDD has slain Letme.
Let me realize too late that, wait a minute, if we're all bot lane and killing them, they should all go top lane and kill me. And then he ends up running away when BDD and Peanut are already there to attack him. So it is a return kill for Kingzone. They will get a top lane turret as well, but they've lost first turret gold.
It's all give and take. When you make a play on the strong side of the map, have more members there, you got to expect the counterplay on your weak side. Here's another look at Xiaohu starting it off, though. He waits on the other side of the wall so he doesn't give away any position while Gorilla is in there, runs straight through with the Shirelia's Revelry, and doesn't hesitate to flash, knowing that that will put him in range for the slow once his E pops.
Just great performance from Xiaohu's side, but as you can see in the minimap, Letme did not back away in time. He stayed top lane, hoping no one would attack him. Well, this happened as a response, and therefore it is another kill for Kingzone.
Yep, Peanut saving his pillar there for the very end to corner him against the tower, and they finished off that kill in addition to the turret trade. Now, RNG still get the first turret bonus, though, because they were the ones to act first.
And that means they maintain their gold lead. In terms of itemization, Rage Blade Trinity Force picked up for Khan and Prey respectively. Banner of Command for BDD. So those first tier spikes have come in. This might allow Kingzone a little bit more flexibility.
They're getting everything at the moment. Xiaohu's top lane pushing. They're going to get Rift Held BDD. Banner is now completed. There's one dematerializing stack for the Vladimir. And that is important to at least kill the first one. Because after that, it's going to take quite some time for Xiaohu to auto-attack it down.
Yep, Karsa going to be able to get something a little bit more powerful than a banner minion, though, as the Rift Herald is taken up and does not like it from the sound of that scream.
Oh, it's important to highlight how Uzi is using every single ulti to kill the caster minion whenever Kingzone are trying to push in these side lanes. It's a very important use of that ulti.
Exactly. When a couple seconds mean the difference between taking down a turret or losing tempo here, every single minion killed counts. They use the Rift Herald in mid lane. They won't be able to finish it off, but it is just teetering.
They're going top lane, which means Kingzone are going bot lane. Time to run again.
Okay, let's see if we can escape this time round. Powder Keg is set up in place as the Spirit's Refuge buys some time, and the barrels will not find the target. The towers are helping out Let Me. Khan goes very, very low. Let Me survives the dive this time.
Man, this guy, definitely good job down there, dodging out and being able to evade under the turret. Relieves so much pressure for RNG as now 3 members, they have an extra person here around the low health turret.
Let's see around the mid lane. RNG not pushing further because Peanut actually showed up and Khan's ulti is still ready, but Xiaohu doesn't care anymore. He's just taking everything.
Yep, still able to finish off the turret on the top side, and that is RNG up 1 outer turret versus Kingzone with 1 very close to follow.
He might complete his death cap very, very soon in this game. He is so fed with 3 kills, 143 CS as well, and he just got full gold from that turret.
And remember, it's scary for Gorilla because he does want to use the Devour to protect Prey against a possible Skarner ultimate or hold it for that. But if a Vladimir gets to the back line, you cannot allow him access for a combo on any of your threats.
Yeah, and with that spellbook, he can go for Ghost, so it makes it even easier for him to get in there. We have the Shirella you highlighted earlier, Kobe. So Xiaohu will find his way back, and what we need to see from Gorilla if you want to actually save Prey from the Vladimir is that you devour a lot earlier than normal. You want to try and devour when Xiaohu appears the first time and lands down the ulti so that Prey doesn't start taking a bunch of damage first, because after the ulti will proc, and that will proc in the belly.
And he's also working on an early QSS once again because he assumes that once he devours Prey, he's going to be the target.
Oh, good damage onto Uzi. Very good flash away. Look at the monsoon for Ming. That's going to save some time as Ming's now flashing for his life. Let Me arrives with the Stand United. RNG live to fight another day, and that day is now. Xiaohu with the Crimson Rush and the Hemoblade get healed right back up to max. The Impale manages to catch BDD. He's pulled backwards, and his zombie form will be taken down. Kingzone lose 1.
What an awesome fight, though. Great engage from Kingzone to start the entire thing. Prey lands the ulti. BDD flies in with the Scion, but Ming and Uzi prevents everything.
These fights are almost chess moves to Vicio. Good opening there from Kingzone, but better answer from RNG.
That keeps RNG in the lead. The fight happens moments before the next Drake, and they are potentially setting up for it.
Yeah, we might get another one here. Let Me. No ulti on the Shen, but he's around mid lane to join. Xiaohu still very healthy.
All right, the fracture comes out. Gorilla forced to use Devour. He takes a chilling smite to the face. The Howling Gale knocks Gorilla up into the air. Here comes Uzi. It's Xiaohu that takes him out. True Shot Barrage tags onto Prey. The flash taunt flash rather, lines it up for Let Me. 7 kills to 1.
And that means the map is wide open for RNG to claim their prize. Infernal Drake gonna stack on top of that mountain.
Gentlemen, you can see why Vladimir was banned in the opening 2 games of this series. 4, 0, and 3 for Xiaohu. 100% kill participation and enough gold to complete Rabadon's death cap already.
And we can see why RNG ended up first in their group stage. When they get into these fights here, they execute them so well. Khan is actually fighting Xiaohu.
Oh, Xiaohu, has he bitten off more than he can chew? Flash is available to him and will go golden for now. Managing to use that stopwatch shot in the face of the parlay, and that's a huge amount of bonus gold to Kingzone. Sniped with the Mystic shot. 1-for-1 trade.
Oh, Peanut once again goes down there. Gorilla was almost there for the Devour, and that save would have meant a big Kingzone resurgence, but in the end, they're still able to push here off of the kill on the bottom side. The banner minion helping assist them.
This game just went completely crazy right there with the fight in mid, then around Drake, then in the bot lane. Look at this push here from Kingstone. It did secure them the first turret in the bot lane. Very important that Khan keeps farming because he's in the late game.
He did keep farming, and he canceled his recall to do so, Deficio.
All right, Caso's going to eat himself a powder cake to the face and will use the Impale. Uzi is on a rampage.
That juicy minion wave right in front of the tower. The barrel already set up.
But that's the thing. Do you blame him? It was right there. He just needed a few hits. And we did ask for Khan to continue farming. He's technically just doing what we asked him about.
So it's your fault, in other words.
Yeah, it's my fault. Blame
There
me.
you go.
Worth it as long as you get paid then, huh? All right,
We'll find out, because if they go down 2-1 in the series, much less will that hurt. This is the replay of the fight just before the Dragon.
Yeah, so here we have RNG coming in, and it's only 4 members of Kingstone because TP from BDD comes down now, and I think Kingstone is walking way too early, completely unable to actually take a fight. And RNG has just shown us so many times that if you overextend slightly, they smack you.
Listen to that crowd erupt. Uzi throws his hands in the air. He's got himself 4 kills, 2 assists to complement that of Xiaohu. And RNG are once again in a commanding position. 5,000 gold up. Baron is going to become an objective, but it feels like RNG have enough of a lead. They can pick any fight they want for the next few minutes and be in an advantageous position.
What a series we have on our hands. That death cap is done for Xiaohu. He has tremendous threat onto the back line. And now every summoner spell.
Wow, Uzi manages to use that arcane shift. Now he's exhausted. Here comes Khan. Stands United buying some time. There's no flash for Uzi, but he manages to get another arcane shift. Let Me will not find the taunt, but there's enough damage coming out thanks to that Tiamat. Now Let Me's in trouble. He gets chopped down, taken out, and killed by Prey's auto attack. Xiaohu's looking for a flank, but it's Uzi with a double to close it out.
Never doubt Uzi. He makes the play into a good one there as Ming on the Jenna gets a reset. Heals him back up, and they continue taking 2 for 1.
He actually just baited everyone, his own team and the enemy team, because everyone was just suddenly fighting back and forth here. Uzi had to use everything to try and get out with the QSS, but because Ming is always protecting him, he keeps us getting more kills.
Yeah, we've talked so much about the AD carries, but the trust between these duos really coming up big.
Ming 007 on that Janna. His monsoons have been game-changing. Finding the right targets, keeping Uzi alive.
Yeah, TPing again, they're gonna fight no more.
Xiaohu's got a flash available to him. The Abyssal Voyage is actually being used into the rhythm, but now Casa, as well as Xiaohu, are here to back up Let Me. A lot of damage going down into BDD. Xiaohu needs to use that Sango Pool to buy some time. Here comes Ming and Uzi. Kingzone are running for their lives. Peanut gonna get devoured up by Gorilla, spat out in a defensive posture. Cannon Barrage is on cooldown, it can't be used yet.
We said in Champ Select that if Kingstone do not get ahead with this comp, they might just lack damage in these fights here. Khan is still waiting for more items before he's a huge threat. So what's happening here is they TP in, they try and collapse onto Xiaohu, but they just can't burst anyone down. This is Uzi with the bait.
Yep, he's able to arcane shift in, then immediately backs out. Frey misses the Varus ultimate there. Shen stand united onto Uzi. Janna reset as well. And then Let Me follows this one through. This is a 4v5 under turret with a health lead.
I thought Uzi had to flash out, but no, he just had got another arcane shift and he actually stood his ground and took the fight. And then the rest of RNG show up and actually secure the kills.
Yep, they're able to kill BDD first and pick up the second one there with a nice arcane shift. Mystic
Sorry,
shot from Uzi.
No, this is live. This is live. This is Khan trying to farm down. Xiaohu solo kills him.
Nope, he's dead. He's dead. Trevor, very much dead. Khan off the field now, and Peanut might follow suit.
Oh my word! Even Peanut caught out. Impaled backwards. Ming with a license to kill. 107. RNG looking towards Baron.
And this kind of game, it just fits RNG's playstyle with this comp because they don't need any sort of main engage. They can just always wait for Kingstone to try and fight them and then flank them, jump at them, kill them. They're starting Baron here, 2 members dead from Kingstone. And this game is just way too fast and everything is in favor of RNG.
I'm sure RNG feeling at home. The crowd is behind them every time they make a big play as well. And that Baron buff is going to let them go very, very close to the Kingstone base.
The first international final in several years. RNG as an organization and Uzi have had so many opportunities in finals. Uzi was once called the bridesmaid, never the bride, never able to hoist a trophy, and now on the verge of going 2-1
I know that
up
feeling, by the way.
and being so close, so close to being crowned MSI champion.
We said this was probably the best chance for RNG to shut down Kingzone and claim the title. They showed game 1, they were the stronger team. Game 3 here, they're definitely showing that they have the upper hand over Kingzone.
For Kingzone being down 10,000 gold, being down the Baron buff as well, it becomes enormously difficult to win this game. Because even with a crucial pick, there's enough damage from Xiaohu or Uzi to just close out the game. And our RNG, 24 minutes in, we got to break open the base, Kobe. They have to get over that final hurdle.
Oh, they are so excited to do it. Splitting immediately into 1-3-1. Let me in the Shen on top side. Using the Baron empowered minions up there to push them into Khan. Xiaohu got the bottom side going, and now they're converging on this blue quadrant.
Let's see where they go from there. You can hear Paris, let's go. Oh, let's go Kingzone, in fact. Let's stop to listen to the calls.
They won 5 games.
Everybody loves an underdog, and this series has been amazing. They definitely want to see him push through.
All right, Uzi now trying to get some chip damage here on this inhibitor turret while Letme's pushing top.
He's chipping a lot of damage.
Is available. Or the Slayer will not find a target, and because there was no engage, means Howling Gale finds nobody. Chain of Corruption manages to tag onto Uzi. He uses the QSS, manages to escape with his life for now. Stands United buying some time. Uzi's just on the front line ADC. The Impale onto BDD. He's taken out, and this gives access to the inhibitor.
Kingzone, they just don't have the damage right now. They cannot lock down Uzi in time, and now it's a mid-inhib falling. Xiaohu coming with the big wave in the bot lane.
Uzi was able to take his first LPL. Oh, never mind. Let's go finish this one up. Uzi's gonna get hit with the barrel.
The barrage comes back out, but just look at the healing. The shield. I didn't even see how Xiaohu popped prey on the back end. But with Baron empowered minions and 60 seconds to go, Kingzone have no defenses, have no power, and have nothing to stop RNG. Royal never give up, are 1 win away from the championship and their first international title.
And we have to remember, in MSI history, we have 3 winners. Koreans won it twice. EDG won it once. I realized I said 3 winners. I always remember we've had 3 tournaments, and it's 2-1 Korea, it might be 2-2. Great point, I'm glad the game ended. Cut that part.
Boys. Uzi's got a taste of winning this year, and he likes it. Now they are 1 game away from him claiming his destiny of an international title.
3rd winner, that's what I mean.
Uzi
Give it up!
himself.
There we go, it's RG.
Uzi himself at the top of the show, we had that hype video, and he said, I am tired of losing in finals. 4 regional finals, he's only won 1. He had 2 world championship finals, which he lost in back-to-back years, and now he's 1 game away from winning this title.
That man
Not
does
being the
not like
bridesmaid
second
anymore.
place.
No, he doesn't. Anyways, gentlemen, that's enough from us. Let's head down to the State Farm analyst desk to get their thoughts on how RNG won the game.
Thank you very much. Quick shot. RNG knows they had game 2 in the bag, and they're playing game 3 like they know that. Trying to strike back, trying to close it out in 4, and they push the series to 2-1.
And this is the best form of RNG. I said it throughout this tournament. This is not RNG at their strongest. This was a team that was supposed to be a triple threat team. Jungle, mid, and AD carry. When they showed up to the tournament, it was just Uzi who came to play. Now, they let the Vladimir go through, and Xiaohu has finally arrived in Paris.
And Xiaohu was excellent at baiting here. This was all about timing out the pull the blood here, the W here. They actually had it off cooldown, just the gank came through. Kingzone over chase, and then Xiaohu was unlocked on the map before a Scion mid, which is all about being roaming around the map, ever could get anywhere.
Yeah, and they had minion dematerializer for when the banner minion was going to come mid lane. Xiaohu's now fed. He's able to go bottom. What happened essentially after that first blood, as well as the gank top, is RNG gained control of all 3 lanes. The one lane that was supposed to be...
Even back on the ban list here. 1 more left. Will it be the Ezreal? Will they switch more up? And that is going to ring true. The crowd also has something
Kaiser, is that where Uzi goes?
It's definitely a first pickable champion. You do have to worry more about your lane phase punishment, though.
Yeah, I think Kingston are saying we can't afford to lose early game right now, especially not if they want to play around Khan and get him ahead. So they need a bot lane matchup that they can win.
You want Gorilla to be your point man, Gorilla with the engage, Rakan and Isaiah for the extra long range.
Ornn is still open though in this draft, so if they go Skarner, Ornn here plus Kai'Sa, that late game is absolutely insane. But again, Kingston are very clearly saying we just don't want to fall behind early, and especially not in the bot lane. So now they have a playmaker. I'm looking at things like Galio mid lane, or the Scion again, things where you can roam from BDD side down and punish everyone.
BDD has to be the difference maker in this game. Xiaohu absolutely took control of game number 3, and he's going to need to strike back. Things like you're talking about that can roam around from the mid lane would be what you want to see from that role.
All right, let's see what BDD locks in. Casa with another Skarner game. He is currently 5 wins, 1 loss in the tournament. Has not been subbed out for MLXG after joining for the final. Now, Olaf found himself on the Phase 2 ban list in every single one of the previous games. Barring the previous, and it's going to get locked in now.
And this change is important again because Kingston are playing more for the early game. They need a jungler that can really match what Skarner is doing, and Peanut is now on the Olaf.
Yeah, they have a lot of possibilities to play off of here with the Olaf now locked in from Peanut. The champion you associate with him, invading early and trying to get control. Level 1 invade should be on your mind now, and you actually have some more time to think about it as the bans come through.
We might get Ming on a melee support this time around. Tom Kench or the Braum to try and protect Uzi, because the goal should not be to try and hard win the bot lane here with Kai'Sa. Your scaling is insane. Aim for the late game.
Yeah. Do you want to get the Braum? Maybe have a little bit stronger of a level 1, or maybe have the Unbreakable for later on in the game as well? Or do you want to try and get that Kai'Sa scaling quicker with one of those strong matchups?
Well, there is something for RNG to decide. I think now they should expect Khan to either go for a Fiora Illaoi type champion, because I'm not expecting him to go AP top.
Yeah, and actually the Morgana was the only other range champion that I was looking for to go with the Kai'Sa. You know, that one, Black Shield's so good later on, plus, you know, trying to hit those bindings early on lane phase. Now I think
just do it,
it's going to be more difficult.
We said it already, just lock it in. Thank you very much. He did it earlier in the group stages, specifically against Ornn. And what happens is, if you try and go up as a jungler after level 6 to gank the Illaoi, she turns it around and 1v2s you. So this is the really classic, leave me alone, just let me push 24/7, and eventually Khan is strong enough to walk into a team fight.
Yep, Khan wants to be left alone, wants to abuse the tank matchup, but RNG want to play as a team here. Another suppression for themselves. And again, the Janna reset, gonna try and help Uzi in the bottom lane.
So Janna, again, good for laning phase, but very bad if you camp the lane. There's a Rakan to engage, there's an Olaf to gank early. I wonder if we get a Galio here, because there is so many ways for him to reach the back line, and they can just protect Illaoi when she smacks in with the ulti. Let's see what he ends up locking in. Whoa!
Hey, Vel'Koz?
So he does not want to play Galio against Malzahar specifically here. He thinks about the matchup, and instead, one of the things teams used to do against Malzahar when he was picked all the time was very long range poke. Vel'Koz can bring that, can easily get rid of the Malzahar passive, and then you can try and all in.
He can also have some more control early, especially with this Olaf, so maybe they do try and look for some early jungle invades.
The tournament life is on the line for Kingzone Dragon X, and in their potentially last game, they have Illaoi top and Vel'Koz mid.
Best meta ever.
Honestly, this tournament has been full of surprises, and I'm happy that they still had some in store for the finals as well.
Well, they did say during the LCK finals that they didn't have to show anything. They had so many things prepared for that one specifically. We were kind of waiting then for the next best of 5 where Kingzone could get challenged. Flash Wolves didn't manage to take them down, so they didn't have to show too many unique things. Saving it though. Vel'Koz coming in, and of course we have already seen the Illaoi once, but I'm glad we see it again.
Yeah, Illaoi. For those to recap, versus tanks, she's so happy because she can do max percentage health damage. She can also heal max percentage of her HP every time her tentacles hit. and that makes it very difficult for tanks to finish off a kill onto Alawi. So sometimes they get a little baited into thinking they can actually have the last bit of damage.
Exactly. Ilaoi is all about just stay alive, doing your ulti, because you have so much damage coming from these different massive tentacles. The way you typically can shut her down is either you knock her away, that's a Janna ulti, or you burst her down so quickly that she never really gets enough hits off to do anything.
Yeah, and we'll see, because Kingzone don't want to be forced into those group situations. Definitely going to try and play off the pressure once again.
What a game. The Void is unleashed with Malzahar versus Vel'Koz in the mid. And of course, Kai'Sa playing from the AD carry role.
I definitely agree with the split push coming in from Ilaoi, but I feel with the rest of the lineup and just looking at the amount of AoE damage they can deal, Kingzone will eventually end up in 5 versus 5s. And if they engage properly, imagine a world where we get Ilaoi ulti combined with a Vel'Koz ulti and AoE engage from a Rakan. Like, that is a wombo combo that one-shots almost everyone.
Very, very true. We'll have to see if the interrupts do come through, though, because again, just much like the rest of this series, there is room for outplay here. And what did I teach you before about the Oran Horn, Deficio?
That's not running away, I guess.
Well, I think that's the opposite of what Kingzone will be wanting to do in an ideal world. We'll keep our eyes on how these team fights play out once we get there. But as we've mentioned a whole bunch, definitely scaling on the side of RNG. Definitely, they need some time to get up. But Xayah, Rakan, Vel'Koz, Olaf, I'm already terrified of those champions at this point in the game.
All right, well, speaking of the Olaf, Peanut starting off on the Raptors. That makes you think he'll go red afterwards, and then down to his blue buff to continue on his clear. Very quick, you can get very low on HP with this champion for extra attack speed. Not have to worry.
Yeah, I really want to see Peanut focus a lot on ganking. Bottom lane, you can shut down these range supports with engage from Rakan, plus your jungler. Looking top lane, you don't actually have to gank for Khan. You can just leave the Ilaoi in the 1v1.
Exactly. Gorilla here has Ignite on the Rakan. Look for the knockup. Try and pressure the Janna and take him down.
Grand Entrance doesn't find the knockup. There's an early Ignite from Gorilla, and Uzi's able to escape.
Well, there you go. Uzi able to get just outside the range of the knockup here. And that's going to allow Ming and him to retain control. Now, we've also seen Karsa pretty heavily focus on, pass by ganks where they go for a little bit of vision, just to make sure that...
Ming.
Ooh, some damage going down. No summoner spell, though. But tension and pressure building in this 2v2.
What was going to be a big all-in, also because Peanut was in the river. He was kind of hovering around the bottom side, but no Predator yet.
Definitely know why you're on your toes, Deficio. These range matchups, they always feel like you're the big bully for the whole lane until Gorilla gets fed up and he goes all in and they get a combo.
Check this out though here. First pro game for BDD on Vel'Koz. It is fun though because in the LCK, I saw a lot of Vel'Koz games. A lot of other regions didn't really want to touch it, especially in Europe. We haven't seen a lot of Vel'Koz mid lane, but LCK kept picking it, and it is such an interesting champion because you have way more burst damage than people expect when they try and go for plays around him. If you manage to land and knock up into your full combo and then with ult, when you start really proccing in passive stacks, like, it is crazy how fast you burn through people.
In addition, in lane, Vel'Koz, you like to put a bunch of points into your Void Rift for lane control. And against Malzahar, he can just throw out 2 W's, and that'll help him push it and push Xiaohu around.
All right, Xiaohu steps forward to get out of range of that plasma vision, of course. The angles is what this is all going to be about. Xiaohu pretty adept at dodging those skill shots for now. That was BDD's E that was beat off.
Yeah, Xiaohu's life is not very fun early game. He definitely can't really trade back effectively, and he doesn't have enough mana either before he starts building up. Some of the items could be more there, and he gets ulti. And that's the thing about Vel'Koz. If you're pushing and trading, and a Malzahar clicks ult on you, you end up dying when the enemy jungler shows up.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes on when they get access to the ultimate, how that plays out. But we caught a quick glimpse of Let Me and Khan trading back and forth. Let Me actually just standing and going blow for blow with Khan despite the test of spirit. Khan's got a lot of those defensive tentacles already in place. Pretty happy if Let Me keeps pushing into him. Just to fall back, play that sort of reactive Ilaoi style.
All right, check back in with Peanut on the Olaf. He has had a power clear, and he's looking at the bottom lane, looking at Uzi.
And this is why. 28 KDA.
He wants to get rid of that KDA, that's for sure. He's around.
82% kill participation.
Oh, is he going to ward it here? Walking
Right,
toward.
Prey and Gorilla are in the river. I don't think we've gone vision up yet. Woo, woo, woo. Not going to find the right target.
He was actually checking the tri-brush to see if Frank Gorilla were walking back into the lane here. Did not walk into place of ward because it was on cooldown.
Uzi walking the edge right there. Doesn't step too close to the bush. Backs off and avoids the extra members in bottom lane. Meanwhile, top lane, Khan gonna have some extra members to deal with.
Oh, look at that. The moment the leap is used, first blood picked up by RNG.
Karsa again. This guy on Skarner has been so active and continues to find early game effect.
Khan not level 6 yet. We already saw some of the damage he can deal as long as he gets to stay alive for a few seconds. Later with the ulti, it's gonna be even more damage coming in, but here they know, okay, we can go in, change CC him, and just try and kill him, but this tentacles there, they're gonna keep hitting.
And this was the counter pick matchup that Karsa is able to help Let Me out.
Later.
He's 1-0 for now, and let's see if Let Me can get far enough ahead to eliminate Khan from this match.
And why did that happen, Trevor? It happened because Peanut, who is usually playing around top triangle of the map, went bottom to Prey and Gorilla to try and make that play with the control ward on Uzi, because Uzi's such a big thing.
Oh,
on
there
King
it is!
Oh, the life form disintegration ray used, but the heal saved his life.
Oh, it hurts so much here. BDD forcing Xiao to use heal and force him to go back towards base here. Peanut is starting the Drake because of it, but look here, Karsa, Uzi, and Ming. They have control of bottom side.
Pushing bottom lane does so much to help out in that Drake control. Karsa now uses that to move up and ward Peanut.
Vision manages to back away. RNG just a little ahead. Pretty comfortable for now, but look at the CS differences. Plus 15 for BDD, plus 12 for Uzi in the bottom lane.
And now we start getting level 6s. Khan, he's going to be much harder to gank now because he can turn it around. Mid lane, Xiaohu's ulti is there. I'm waiting for Karsa to get his, and then I think ganking BDD is going to be a very effective move from RNG's side because if Velka simply can't escape.
Oh, there we go. Harsh lesson. The test of faith. A lot of damage onto Let Me's ghost. He's going to need to kill a few of those tentacles before he's going to be safe. And as it stands, be able to farm safely.
Yeah, Khan just keep rocking the Klepto there. As we said before here, when you pick a Lao, it's not to level 1 or 2 completely stomp the lane. You scale very well in the side lane with Black Cleaver. You get Klepto as well for extra gold generation, and once he gets that item, that's when he gets really scary.
Yeah, presetting right now, gonna walk his way back out. Both teleports for top lane are in sync. BDD in the mid lane has swapped his over, but it's still on cooldown, making use of the summoner spellbook to lower it a little bit.
All right, let's see how well these next few minutes play out. We're approaching 10 minutes. It's still even as far as the gold is concerned, thanks to some of those CS numbers. But in terms of how the draft played out, this is maybe a little bit more what we were anticipating from strengths and weaknesses of the respective teams. You know, from what we had seen, we talked a lot about RNG was sort of the late game team, and Kingzone had been the early game team, even though that's not been the case this series.
And in this draft, I think RNG are pretty happy with the early game and the way that this one is going. You know, they have Kai'Sa trying to scale up on the bottom side. They haven't had the threat, you know, of the Rakan all-in really come to fruition yet.
Yeah.
That being said, Gorilla is now level 6, and it becomes much more threatening.
I'm still waiting for Peanut to really start showing how much he can actually gank on this Olaf here. I think back to some of the past tournaments where he's played Olaf and he's just dominated early games. Not the case so far.
Exactly. I mean, he wasn't even able to protect Alawi up on the top side. Meanwhile, bottom, once again, Karsa is there.
All right, there's 2 level 6s on the side of Kingzone. Gorilla gets in, gets out, and it is just the heal of Monsoon to save the day.
Oh, Karsa also used Flash. He tried to grab Gorilla before he went back towards Prey. Around the mid lane, Peanut is looking for something, but Xiaohu is playing it very passive. Small win for Kings on bot lane, and that can be important.
Yep, they got a lot of damage done, and they got the Janna ultimate out in addition to that flash that you mentioned. So some cooldowns to keep track of, but RNG still holding fairly strong.
It just feels like this game is so explosive. With all of the champions, the suppression, the damage.
There's the horn!
All of the Forge God comes out. That will be an insta-flash by Khan, and Xiaohu's roam will negate in nothing. The summon a spell for now. Let's wait for the refresh and the regain.
Well, let's see if Peanut on the bottom side can do something. Blast cone over. Cast is on his way, but there's no TP to actually defend. Peanut is going in.
All right, let's take a look. There goes the undertow. Won't find any slow. BDD's already backing away. He's heading to the mid lane. Kingzone will be happy just to get some additional damage, get some additional control for a lane that really was struggling a little. Frey and Gorilla, they fell behind in CS despite the strength that Zion Rakan offered.
Again, though, Karsa comes over. He's able to escort them through to the minion wave at the turret, and Uzi picks some more up. Look at the CS there. He's doing so well getting these last hits, even with Kingzone having multiple visits to the bottom side.
They're looking top laning at Shahu. It's actually just Rift Hell being started. It just spawned. Poor guy instantly gets destroyed.
Touche. Good catch there, Deficio. There's no vision from Kingzone either, so not going to be aware. There's some missing pings from when Xiaohu roamed. That was why Khan backed away. Peanut, he sniffs something is up. He's trying on there. Will get a reveal onto Casa as well as the Rift Herald. And they're going to back away, so we're not going to secure the objective yet. Just an interruption, a little bit of a waste of time on the side of RNG.
Honestly, though, I can't blame Karsa and RNG for throwing out, moves like that, where they have been able to sneak quite a lot of early game objectives. A lot of the dragons been taken just in time with that Skarner Spire. This time around, though, Peanut catches them in the act. And again, this is an Infernal Drake on bottom side, so we're going to have to get back towards that one as well.
Yeah, if Kingzone can manage to secure a kill bot lane and then get Infernal Drake from it, it is such a huge win for them with this Zyra Khan combo. But Ming and Uzi have done a great job trying to play defensive. Peanut, he's back again.
He's back again, and he's timing it almost with Gorilla's Ignite. A few seconds left on that Summoner's spell, so they might be able to spark something here around the Infernal Drake.
Who is the target? Ming was able to get out from the Tri-Bush. Casa was a threat of being collapsed on, and nothing happened yet. All right, so Kingzone, they're going to get the Scuttle Crab, and then potentially set themselves up for a Dragonflight at some point. Look at the vision around that area of the map, as well as allowing Frey and Gorilla just to keep pressing forward, keep shoving into Uzi and Ming.
Yeah, they've had this control on the bottom side, but Casa keeps being down here as well, acting as another defensive tool for RNG, making it a little bit harder for Kingzone to set up that tower dive or the quick Infernal Drake. But they keep getting mid-push, they can just start it, and worst case, they get a fight.
Worst case, let's see who wins that fight. All right, Peanut in the pit on the Dragon. Throwing out a couple of those reckless swings. There's no teleports used yet. Khan and Let Me, they were trading. I'm looking to see if they back away, and neither team willing to start that fight yet. Losing a fight and Infernal in 12 minutes could determine the game.
RNG seems so calm in this one, calling every play. Xiaohu actually going to have to burn his stopwatch there. That is definitely a big resource.
Kudos to BDD, landing every single one of those skill shots, forcing out the stopwatch. Looking at the minimap again, Peanut as well as BDD with the roam opportunity. But it's this pressure cooker. The longer it goes, the more it is at stake. Towers can fall, Infernal Drake can fall, Khan still has no flash. Xiaohu's looking for a dive.
Yep, he has his ultimate ready.
All right, here comes Fall of the Forge Guard. That's going to be an easy tag. How's the Void Swarm? RNG punishing the flashless column.
RNG are just destroying this Kingzone lineup. Peanut's focusing on the bottom side, unable to get much done there, so Khan is paying the price. This time around, though, they've hard committed to the top side with that Malzahar, and Kingzone want to get something in trade.
So let's see if they can actually get the top lane turret down in time and trade it for Infernal Drake. This is a TP coming from BDD to defend. So Kingzone, they lose that top laner, they get the Drake, and they don't lose the turret here. So a quick reaction on their side. And Joe showing, well, if you're not a melee champion, you can still go up with gank and allow it, because then she can't even get to you.
All right, now you got to keep track of those teleports, though, because Xiaohu walked his way up here. He did not use his teleport, and RNG have the possibility of making another play right out of this replay. But here's another look at it. Pretty simple there, boys. Just layer your crowd control, and they were able to kill the target.
Yeah, and of course, that allowed Kingzone to pick up the 10th Dragon of the series. Fitting considering their name. They've got that Infernal Drake. It will help out as this game scales up. And I'm looking at itemization, gentlemen. Rage Blade for Uzi already. And Frey still working towards that Essence Weaver. So I'm already a little nervous of this guy. So I know how good she scales, but that Rage Blade is great already.
It's so impressive. He's sitting on so much CS here with the Kai'Sa when he's been against a jungler like Olaf that's hovered around his lane multiple times, but he always managed to get the farm and then step out and not actually risk going down. So Kingzone have not been able to utilize the Zyra Khan yet. That being said, they do both scale very well, and that's going to be a lot of big team fights where the wombo combo from Kingzone with all their AoE damage can always turn everything around.
Could be the case, but it's going to be tricky to get their hands on Uzi on that Kaisa and hold him down. On the items, though, for them, at least they do have BDD banner completed for him, so they can add some extra pressure, and Khan as well, the Black Cleaver, so he can shred armor, in addition to having his level 2 ultimate available.
Well, let's see what Khan's going to do as this fight breaks out, of course. Throws the ultimate down. Let Me is getting bullied. It's immediately after that Black Cleaver was picked up. Which we were talking about just a little bit earlier. The Tester Spirit comes out. Let Me, the Bellows Breath shield, stays alive a few seconds longer. There's no support from anyone else, and Let Me still sticking around. I'm holding my breath in case there's some sort of engage.
And it's so fun for Khan now to play Lowry, because once you get some levels, you start getting to a point where you just spam your slam onto them for Rocket. Let's see what happens here. No, it's just Peanut running away.
Interesting option there for Xiaohu, forcing the trade of ultimates as well. Now he's on the run.
Okay, a little bit of damage there. Let Me still sticking around. He's under pressure. The quickness comes in. The life form disintegration. Death Ray secures a kill onto Xiaohu. That's a double for BDD at the cost of Gorilla's life. It's not done yet as Let Me's running away from Khan. Khan's looking to put a harsh lesson down. He's not going to be able to get one. That's a double for Kingzone.
They're able to finally crack the defense here from RNG and get some kills for themselves with their solo laners exerting pressure.
Yeah, 2 kills now for BDD. Deals so much damage, even with the banner build on his side here. Let Me will kill the wave, but he's so low, and there are so many tentacles around. If Khan gets onto him, slams down, the tentacle will hit right after as well, and there's just so much extra damage coming from this Ilaoi. So 2 solo laners under a lot of pressure.
And even though Parsa is able to get Gorilla and get 1 kill back for them, look at this, he's going to have to use so much to do it. He flashes over to go for the Rakan again and try and make them at least lose something. In the end, though, he also goes down, so Kingzone happy to get that extra kill.
Kingzone get 2. It was only 1 for RNG. Khan may have stuck around far too long. He gets taken out. All the CC is layered. And that's an easy reply by RNG.
And that's honestly just lazy here by Khan, not even paying attention to the rest of the map. His mid laner was running from base. His dual lane was not in their lane. You can't be pushing to the enemy turret.
Exactly. For a team based on pressure, you need the other sides to be holding up their end of the bargain.
It's not the first time we've seen that falter. Of course, game 1 of the series, extremely close until Kingzone tried a 1-3-1. That was punished. They hung around, and RNG took the lead. Now, Tower First Blood picked up there by RNG in the top lane. You can feel the energy in this stadium is electric. Kingzone on the verge of being eliminated, on the verge of losing the final, and Uzi's going to get tagged by that plasma fission. The death ray is interrupted, I think, by the howling air. The monsoon, rather, as now Ming as well as Uzi are chasing. Let Me's teleport completes, and Kingzone escape with their lives.
Yeah, BDD's just controlling this mid lane here, lands all the damage he needs, forces RNG away, and then Ming tries to use flash in with exhaust, had to use ulti first to actually stop the ult from BDD, but after that, BDD just walks away, only had to use his ghost. Big win for him, and then it doesn't matter if your top laner is just dying because your mid laner and your bot lane just got the turn.
Yep, a lot used from RNG there to try and close the trap, get that punishment, but
almost got the win.
Couple hits more, it'll be
it's effective
momentarily, but here's a replay, of course. BD throwing down that ult.
Yeah, and Uzi just gets to the very edge of that knockup. That means Ming commits everything. He walks up, uses his ult, flash exhaust to try and chase down a kill, but even though they also call for the teleport from Let Me, he had no ultimate to chase that with.
If he had ult, it would make a lot of sense that they're trying to chase down BDD, but in the end, they lose a bunch of summoners. Khan, despite dying, did actually not use anything, so Kingzone still have a lot of pressure down towards the bottom lane here, and we're just kind of waiting for the next play around BDD because he's been going crazy this game.
It is insane how much action we have had. We're approaching 20 minutes. It feels like there have been skirmishes the entire time. Threats of dives, potential kills. And as it stands, BDD that you were talking about, Deficio, he's up 30 CS. He's got a Luden's Echo to complement the banner of command. And that tower that was effectively dead is now officially dead. And that will allow Kingzone a little bit more safety, maybe, when it comes to pushing onto this mountain drake. They got the first Infernal. BDD will be the recipient of a Call of the Forge God. And that max range will get the knockup, but there's simply no follow-up after the fact. RNG, that's a big initiation cooldown, no longer available.
BDD knows his rhymes. He heard the horn, immediately started running from horn, and he able to get out without burning any cooldowns right right there. So even though maybe the message was sent, it's King Zone. They get back out onto the map. They know that the engagement's not there, so they can take this mountain trade.
Okay, we're now getting into the mid-game portion. When we look at the itemization, dragon number 2 picked up here by King Zone. What are we coming to expect? King Zone have got a lot of initiation tools, but to be fair, so do RNG.
Well, I'm ready for King Zone to basically one-shot Ming when the fight starts. He's not sitting with Flash right now. Prey and Gorilla with Zaya Rakan can easily set it up, and then BDD's ult follows.
It's a great point to bring up because it's not supposed to be the Skarner flashing in to ult the Rakan while he's zipping around. This is what the Malzahar range suppress would be much better suited to do. If it's actually Xiaohu who's able to stuff Gorilla and stop that engagement, that would be what RNG would want to win a team fight.
Yeah, 100% agree. So I really want to see QSS from Gorilla, because then you can actually get back out of the fight once you jump in.
Gorilla does have the unsealed spellbook, currently sitting on Ignite Flash. He should be changing that to Cleanse unless he's got enough money for QSS. Sitting on 700 gold.
I'm not going to save you against Skarner Malzahar.
Ah, touche. Thank you.
Riot support lied to you.
Gonna need a little bit more itemization money then before that becomes plausible. And for King Zone, it is still going to be getting this very interesting, very unique team composition to work. Use that pressure that we talked about from the fact that BDD and Prey are farming and doing so well.
Yeah, so they're doing well, which buys more time for Khan. And while he's definitely been caught out a few times and there's been some resources invested into killing him, the rest of King Zone have benefited from it, and this Ilaoi is still going to win the side lane. So right now, by having a stronger four-man group, King Zone are actually in a good situation if they can force a fight here and shut down someone like Ming, because that can lead straight to a Baron.
Feels like whoever's going to land the crowd control has enough damage to win the fight. There is just so much follow-up on both sides. If BDD can get a full channel on that ultimate, he's going to wreck some kids. There's no doubt about that. All right, 22 minutes on the clock, 2 towers to 1. King Zone are now shifting their priorities. They got bottom and middle towers, which means the top outer is very, very low. Khan has done a good job of setting that up earlier. And of course, with stage of the game, Baron is a possibility. So that's why they're clearing up. Crab setting up some vision in that area now.
And should be able to kill that top and turret soon. He didn't actually use his banner on it just yet. Still do it right after. He's going to continue push with the cannon coming the next wave.
Yep, BDD remaining calm. Him on the Vel'Koz has been so big here for King Zone in this game, where the pressure is really all coming together. They are backs against the walls, match point against RNG. They cannot afford to lose anymore.
King Zone are up around 1,500 gold for now, slowly climbing ahead. Next dragon is Infernal, several minutes away, so it just feels like it's waiting for a objective to contest or somebody out of position before these teams are willing to make a very big play. And oh, we do have a pause.
Pressure was too much. Stress has mounted.
I'm personally thankful for this because the tension was building for me, let alone for the players on stage, waiting to see where and what will happen to set off the fights or the contests.
It's King Zone who needs to force it at the moment. They are the ones with the Rakan engaged. They have insane burst damage coming from this Vel'Koz here. They're not starting Baron yet. I think they are too squishy at the moment to tank the Baron and still turn for a fight. So they're probably just waiting for another Infernal Drake to spawn.
Yeah, RNG can afford to be very careful right now. They're waiting to try and outplay this. They have huge crowd control abilities available. They're going to have to be very quick, though, once that engagement comes to try and answer, try and defend.
All right, as you can see on your screen, there's a King Zone side pause. I believe that is the same issue reported earlier, so while our guys are investigating this, give us a few moments to talk about it. I want to ask about the scaling question. How different are these two teams? Because we're talking about how it was a little bit more pressure on King Zone to be proactive and make the plays now.
Yeah, and that's still true. RNG, as I said, they can afford to be very confident and cautious right now. They've been coming up with a lot of good answers, a lot of good counter moves, and the gold is so close right now Uzi having completed his second item on Kaisa, that they're starting to feel pretty confident. So you really have to watch out for the big engagements, and the vision is going to be what sparks that pick.
Yeah, I think no matter also how far we go into this game, to the scaling question, like Kingstone's draft, because there's so much wombo combo damage, can always win a fight. But I can also just see the same fight where Ming's ulti is perfect, Ilaoi gets knocked back out, and she doesn't provide anything in the fight, and then suddenly Uzi goes completely crazy on a Kaiser.
Yeah, that's a problem I see. There's no point and click here for Kingzone to deal with this Kaisa. And Uzi has been very good with his positioning and dodging to be able to deal the damage without exposing himself.
Yeah, I really want to see how he decides to use that ulti, because when you jump in as Kaiser, typically you end up in the middle of the enemy team.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. You don't really want to do that against things like Vel'Koz and Ilaoi, because she's standing there being like, please come into my tentacles, I will smack you in the head. So if you are Uzi, you got to be super careful with how you're using it.
Yeah, and he should have a lot of options. Because of these CC abilities we keep mentioning for RNG, you know, Ornn, very long range. Xiaohu on Malzahar is going to be stacking Plasma on someone else. Skarner gets to stack Plasma on people as well. There should be lots of targets, you know, possible places for him to try and dodge these abilities, get away from the Ilaoi, towards the priority targets, and, you know, finish up.
Something that I love about this entire series today is it has felt like the drafts have been very good on both sides every single game, and it comes down to execution, setup, planning. It hasn't been those discussions that we've even had this very tournament, where question marks around champion pools, player preferences have come into account.
And we keep seeing new picks as well, like this draft, you can see on the side of Kingstone to the right, like these are 5 new champions compared to what they played in the previous game. They're like, we need early game jungler, that's an Olaf in here. We have Zyra Khan, so we can force plays around bottom side, and that Vel'Koz shows up because Malzahar was blind picked by Xiaohu, and it's an LCK special.
10 games in the LCK were played with Vel'Koz this split, and just to add on to that champion discussion, the fact that champions that have been banned have been allowed through. So Olaf found himself in the banned pool, was picked up. Vladimir in the previous game found himself banned in the opening 2 games, found himself banned this game because Xiaohu just popped off on that champion, Kobe. And as it stands, it's now going to come down to execution again. We're 23 minutes in, and this game is just about even. Kingzone marginally ahead.
Like we saw in game number 2, when BDD was able to step up and have a huge team fight and outplay, that could be all the difference. Right now, I'm looking at Gorilla for Kingzone. The difference between a well-played Rakan engage and a poor one is going to be the life and death of this team.
That's simple. And there's 2 suppressions to get through. We'll see in an Ornn ultimate. Makes
Oh,
it
he's
difficult.
probably going to die
Quick update.
when he goes in.
Quick update, of course. The referees and the technical team backstage are reviewing the footage of the problem that was reported on the side of Kingzone. So while they're looking into that footage, we do have to continue just discussing and chatting some of the implications. But I really like what you said a few minutes ago to Fisher, that scaling, while yes, it is a factor, you can discuss it, the wombo combo capabilities and the fact that Kaisa, if played well, has to fling herself at the enemy, it creates opportunities to turn these fights on a dime.
Yeah, and that's going to be so fun to watch, because we're probably going to see both fights. We're going to see the one where Khan tries to walk in, he gets Malzahar ulted, and he just gets burned down in a second. We're like, oh, okay, that was pretty bad. But then the next fight, you overextend slightly, and BDD lands a wombo combo on his own, basically, and starts hitting an ulti on multiple members, proccing passives, and suddenly the fight is in Kingstone's favor. Because we're going to get both, it just means that, especially the next big one that will give you Baron, that's probably going to be the most important one.
What I like is it doesn't feel like the first Baron right now will determine the game. There's still a lot of towers to burn through. It's only 23 minutes in. If you get absolutely obliterated.
I can see if Kingstone gets it with a fight, that their composition is good enough to then snowball the game out and actually finish it really quickly. But on the other side, RNG, yeah, it just buys them more time to get Uzi in the late game.
All right, so we'll find out. I am hearing some updates that the players might hopefully be ready. We'll keep you informed as that goes forward. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Gentlemen, thank you very much for helping me discuss the game. We're going to head to the analyst desk with Dash and Crew.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. While the action takes a small pause, the fandom does not here in the Zenith Arena. But midway through Game 4 here, with their backs against the wall, Kingzone doing everything they can to extend us to a 5th game in the series.
Everything and more. I saw the Velcos, and like they mentioned, LCK special, we saw plenty of it from Crown, and everything was going normal. There was a lost chapter. I'm like, okay, I see what this is all about. Let's attack. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the Syndra versus Malzahar, and I'm like, can they make it work? BDD's had another season behind him. Then the Aegis came in, my mind started to explode. They weren't even using the Banner of Command straight away. But still, so far, it's got them the turret, it's got them the lead, and getting a lead in the early game is something they have struggled to do.
And I think the important thing to look at here is the fact that Kingzone is up 3 turrets to 1. So they had a very good pressure draft, which is something they haven't been able to have in the first 3 games. Getting Uzi on the Kai'Sa, while terrifying for the late game, means they can actually get some lane pressure. The banner Vel'Koz is just absurd, but it will give you...
I saw how hard that was for you to
It
say.
dirty out of my
lowers
mouth.
the kill threat and it pushes a lane. And no matter how many times an Alawi dies against an Orin, you could be 0-6. You're still going to be able to push him in and be vulnerable to ganks. But because they have pressure in all 3 lanes, it means they're up 3 turrets. And this is a more comfortable situation for Kingzone to be in than I think they have been in all series.
My question is, where are they going to use the Alawi? Because Khan had this game off to a very rough start. Multiple times he was the target, trying to get that Ornn into a more favorable matchup, because this is a very difficult matchup for Ornn. You can see that Khan continued to push Let Me In despite getting the kills, but do they continue to play Khan in the side lane like the last time we saw his Alawi, or will they actually group up for the big 5v5?
And look, at the end of the day, the Ornn is a pressure valve. He goes top side. Yes, he doesn't have good pressure. The casters mentioned a couple times till Black Cleaver and then some. So, of course, he's annoying. Of course, he's getting some lane priority. He kept getting lane priority, kept getting ganked. But crucially, because we weren't seeing Sejuani, because we were seeing Olaf, because as you mentioned, it's a pressure draft, good things were happening where the top laner was not, and that was at least the start of some good map movements. The 3 turrets, that's a good sign for Kingzone.
And I think the game is at a bit of an inflection point because currently, with the push that Kingzone has had in mid and bottom lane, they've been able to get 2 Drakes. Mountain and Infernal. Pretty happy about those
There's
Drakes.
another Infernal on the map.
And there's another Infernal on the way, a couple minutes away. Uzi's at a 2-item power spike. They have the Shurelya's Reverie on the Malzahar. They also have a Skarner, and there are not many QSSs yet on Kingzone. I think if RNG can't turn that fight around, if they just concede the Infernal and keep giving up turrets, that'll give them enough time to buy QSSs on Kingzone's side. And I think that's actually in danger of RNG losing control of the game.
And it's
All
also...
right, well, Jack claims that it's at an inflection point. I'm being told that we're getting ready checks as we speak, so we'll hopefully be loading into gameplay in just a moment as we go. Again, with everything on the line here for Kingzone, we're tossing it back to Quick Shot, Deficio, and Kobe.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to what could be the last game of MSI 2018. To give you a brief update on the state of the game, Kingzone are marginally ahead thanks to some very good tower plays, despite the fact that Khan has been a little greedy with his positioning and punished for it, as you can see, 0-3 on that Alawi.
And you'll notice he also bought a banner. This is a double banner team here from Kingzone. They really want to continue to play with the pressure. Banner the side waves, let them push, and then look for the Rakan play.
Now, the one downside is, of course, your team fighting is a little bit weaker in this regard here, Khan. Normally, you see things like Death Stance and GA come in after a Black Cleaver. It is going to be delayed in this game. Same thing with BDD with his own build. He just used his banner now on the top side. So, yeah, it is about side lane control against a 5-on-5 draft.
Look at the itemization, 2 stopwatches in the inventory of Kingzone. Those next team fights that I was talking about a little earlier, the next Baron or Dragon, they could be game-changing. Kingzone wants it to be in their favor. They want Silver Scrapes, and they want that shot at the Titan.
Yeah, and I think there's a very good chance that if RNG lose that fight and the Baron, that they will simply fall too far behind. They don't have great wave play in their composition. And if Kingzone, as Jad highlighted, gets all the QSSs they need, suddenly they can eliminate a lot of threats.
Well, it gets me thinking it's going to be Baron or Dragon. Maybe it's a red buff, and is not the case. I'll see if that was picked up by Prey. I think that it was. Particles there on Casa. So Prey as well as Kingzone are going to steal away that red, and they continue to apply pressure. They've got all outer turrets down. They need to push deep into RNG territory for another objective.
Yeah, because they've been able to continually push here. So much vision through the blue quadrant. They're, again, invading, looking to contest.
take a look. All of the Forge Guard onto Khan. That's going to force the flash. We saw that happen 20 minutes ago, and Khan was killed a few minutes later. Xiaohu's going to be chasing with the Shirelia's Reverie. Silence is connected. I'm waiting for the ultimate from Khan.
Oh, they got him now.
All right, Khan is locked down by the Nether Graph. Will get the ultimate out, but killed very, very quickly.
And this is the Xiaohu special for RNG. He loves to roam down to the lane where Let Me is sitting and trying to catch the enemy top laner. He just chases down the Alawi. Rest of Kingstone are looking for something around Baron.
Yeah, you can tell. Xiaohu, full confidence there. He continues the chase even after the flash, after Let Me turns back and hesitates from his Ornn ultimate, knowing the Shirelia's speed would get them in range.
And look at the timing. 8 seconds for Infernal Drake. Khan is dead for another 20 seconds. He can TP in when he's alive, but RNG can start it now.
Whoa, that's a flash suppress. They've already got Gorilla. He's dead. Karsa finds the opening.
Then they would live and die by the Rakan play, and Karsa strikes first, flashes in for the sting. That's going to give them the dragon.
Well, first dragon of the 4th game in favor of Royal Never Give Up. That's an Infernal apiece.
And this goes back to RNG in the LPL, and this play here was Xiaohu. From watching the bots, talking to Frost, we kept seeing this happening. He would like leave his top lane, he would go down, surprise him in top lane, and teams normally wouldn't really prepare against it and get surprised. That's what started this entire thing. Now, the rest of Kingstone are trying to hover around, even though there are only 4 members and Khan is still dead for another 10 seconds. Greedy play by both Khan and Gorilla, and they got punished.
Yep, the decision-making from RNG has been so quick, no hesitation. They're able to get a lot off of that one.
Thank you, Ace of Predator, for that replay as we're back into live. Kingzone, they've lost that gold lead. They've lost themselves a tower. They've lost themselves control. And it maybe all starts from the fact that Khan once again got shut down.
They can still set up a fight though. They are currently trying to get all the Baron vision. Khan is still bot lane. Needs to walk up a TP in if they're actually starting it. Because that's the thing about Ilaoi, is you ideally actually want to with your team when the fight starts so you can land that huge ulti, unless you can get the perfect flank into a flash ult combo, but that is pretty hard to set up.
It's extremely hard because Alawi's ultimate is a very short range, deceptively short. You need the enemy team most of the time to jump into you.
Wow, this helps if Baron Pit is where the fight is. Look at this.
Khan.
3 item spikes, by the way, inside of RNG. Infinity Edge and Void Staff with Xiaohu and Uzi. It's already secured. Kingzone, can they win the fight? Nethergard buys some time, finally gets but it's a reply kill. Cost is the first. Look at the feathers. They fly the call back. And Uzi trying to do something. He's taken out. It's a double kill, and Kingzone get 4.
What an opening for Kingzone! And the stopwatch for Khan comes up big. He's able to survive as well.
We just said it. We want Khan with the team. So when RNG walked forward, he's already there with the Ilaoi. What a huge wombo combo.
Man, 4 members of Kingzone alive and barreling down the map. That's a 3-man stack mid. Khan is bringing the minions to the top lane, and there are still 20-second death timers on the side of RNG.
And this is how you want to set it up if you want to go to a game 5. Kingstone sit around the Baron. They started knowing they can team fight. Let Me does not manage to cancel any recalls, and I just can't wait for this replay.
Look at this. As we just finished saying, Alawi wants you to run into him. Khan stands in the pixel bush, and even with everyone around him, gets his ult off before the Malzahar ultimate. Then the flash in, Gorilla able to knock up all of them, buying time for Khan to get off his hourglass and survive.
Oh, we kept highlighting the amount of AoE damage from this Kingstone composition, and they just had the perfect team fight.
All the initiation blown on the Alawi opens up the pathway for Gorilla, able to charm them all.
BDD still has his stopwatch available, wasn't even under threat. And if you look at that wombo combo and you think maybe it's a shotgun, it has to hit the first shot. Well, it just took RNG's legs off. They're 5,000 gold down. They still have Baron to deal with. And they've got supers in the middle lane. Look at Kingzone grouping towards the bottom.
And the only positive for RNG is that they managed to stall the game long enough for Uzi to actually get items so he could team fight. Because when you lose that first Baron, the worst thing that can happen to teams is they're too weak to fight. And then they just see all the turrets drop and they fall way too far down. But because we are almost 30 minutes in, Uzi is actually strong enough to take a team fight even against the Baron Bob team if RNG can engage.
Well, if you're on the receiving end of a bunch of tentacles, doesn't work out in that well. You can see now the limited wave clear here doing some work against these Baron minions, but we're going to allow a couple shots from Prey, chipping 20% of that tower HP. Banner empowered minions also taking it away, and RNG, they're going to step so far forward to even deal with this wave. Look, they still haven't got that minion.
Yep, there goes Test of Spirit and half of Let Me's life. That's going to be enough to push in and take down the turret.
Elau is so good in these sieges here because she can just keep landing poke and you are forced back to base. Let Me's TP is available. There's a ward behind Kingzone, but they're stepping away from this bottom side because they just killed the inhib.
What an insane Baron play there from Kingzone. They're able to get all of the kills, 2 inhibitors down, and leave RNG's base in rubble.
One more fight, and it's game 5.
Keep your eyes on Gorilla. That man has the ball, and he's looking to finish with a dunk.
And vice versa. Keep your eyes on Uzi. I distinctly remember his Kai'Sa from the LPL playoff run. Team was behind. He managed to find a unique pick on that W, dive into the back line, and eliminate a carry. If Uzi, as he continues to scale up, can find a fight, that is how RNG can win.
We just have to remember how hard it is for Uzi because he's watching everyone in front of him get hit by 3 to 4 massive AoE abilities that destroys them. And if he wants to fly into the back line, he gets to be in the middle of it. So he needs to play teamfights perfectly. Ideally, if you're RNG, you can reset from the first engage. When Elau ults, if you Janna ult and walk out, that Elau is a lot weaker for the next round.
All right, Kingzone, they're on the siege, pressing forward. Plasma visions being fired out by BDD, trying to cover all angles and push away RNG. Flashing Pale is up for Casa. He's going to decide to back away. No really juicy targets just yet.
Another banner empowered minion means they finish off that outer turret. Then they're coming for the last inhibitor turret.
32 minutes in. Another test of spirit there. It's dunked down. I don't think we'll be spawning anymore for Let Me. Not quite see as we scroll down. As it stands, RNG now tries to defend. Supers in 2 lanes. Uzi peeled away from top to defend middle.
Time is running out for RNG. They're being swarmed in.
They are indeed. Gorilla was knocked up for a moment, but there wasn't any follow-up. No engage. Casa too far away. Void Seeker goes out from Uzi, but he's holding on to that killer instinct. Cannot afford to dive into 5.
BDD is the only carry without a QSS, but he's sitting behind his team. He's staying far away, so Casa can't get to him easily.
Uzi can so easily clear out these minion waves, though, on the Kai'Sa with his Q as well as the Randuin, and threatened with his ultimate to join.
All right, Call of the Forge God comes up. Prey uses the ultimate to dodge, and Kingzone successfully disengaged. Do not walk through those feathers. Nethercraft sponsor Khan. There's Gorilla with the quickness. Gets in, gets out. The death ray from BDD signifies nothing. Not enough damage, but the tower's still a focus.
Oh, without that quickness, I don't know if Kingzone will have the opening. RNG still fending off minions, though. They had to send Xiaohu down towards the Nexus to finish them up.
The siege is not done yet.
Here, guys. You can just TP in, but I think Kingzone not looking for another fight with all the ultis on cooldown.
Without the crowd control from Gorilla, they won't be able to find their opening to actually use all of their damage. So they pull off and allow some breathing room here for RNG.
And RNG very clearly learned, if you run at Kingzone, in the middle of it, you die. This was Xiaohu from the side, having to pick a target with QSS just to start a fight, but everyone, they stayed away from the center of Kingzone.
Okay, gentlemen, 45 seconds to Baron. Ocean Drake is up. It's a lower priority objective. And for now, RNG have probably got another 60 or so seconds before that bottom inhibitor spawns. It didn't take too long for it to collapse. RNG cannot afford giving up that Baron, but they cannot afford running into Kingzone in the Baron pit either. It went so horribly wrong last time.
Definitely cannot make a mistake like that again. Flash is available for almost everyone. Xiaohu the only one with his blown. And Gorilla.
As we hit yet another pause, just a quick update. 34 minutes in, Uzi at 470 CS. He's on the verge of that flame horizon over Prey. I believe just over 13 CS per minute.
If they win this, losing those inhibs were just all part of the plan. More minions coming
Just
down.
part of the plan.
More fun for Uzi.
Uzi's setting up for a big play as well, gentlemen. He's got a stopwatch purchased, That is buying some playmaking power for himself. If he jumps in and has to immune some Alawi tentacles, get to the back line, kill a priority target before using it, the possibilities are there.
Oh, there's so much tension. Obviously, guys, an update there it is. Another technical related pause, I believe, on the side of Kingzone, as I can see. And they are, as you're looking at his Peanut, man on your screen right now. Such a high intensity final. Game 4, tournament life on the line. This just adds to the complexities. On the verge of mental boom, as it were, after that Game 3 crushing defeat, Kingzone could get us to Game 5, could follow us all the way.
Yeah, the four-man group of Kingzone have played very well here. Khan is the only one who's really been caught out multiple times, but I guess he did kind of redeem himself when he got that big fight around the Baron. That was a huge part of Kingzone securing the lead they have now. But as we also highlighted, because we got far enough into the game, there is items on someone like Uzi to actually fight back. You don't have to just concede everything.
Late game Kai'Sa, one of the best things about this build with the Rage Blade, with the Runons, is that you can kill multiple targets at the same time, and with the passive proccing that quickly, even the frontliners will go down quickly.
You see just how tense it is. Uzi, of course, just dabbing his forehead. It is warm here in the Zenith Arena, and this game is heating up. 2-1-0, we talked so much about Uzi, but the suppression on the sidelines, we've seen some engages by Gorilla that have worked, and some where he has been shut down. That engage from Casa a few minutes ago, well, 10 minutes ago, the flash catch, game changer, keeping RNG alive.
It definitely was good for RNG, but now there is QSS on Gorilla's side, so he can actually get out of it. The only one still missing is BDD.
Okay.
And he seems to be not opting into it for now, because he's sitting on a stopwatch instead. And I just want to see if it does matter in the next fight, because right now he's sitting far back due to very long range on Vel'Koz. If he does, however, step forward, there is a chance that he gets flashed on.
Theoretically, the team shouldn't be stepping forward. There's a reason for that. I actually have that replay of Khan's engage at Baron brought to you by Ace of Predator. Let's take a look at this one more time.
Yeah, Alawi engage looks like standing in one spot and having the team run at you.
No,
I would say this is more Gorilla's engage. Khan, though, plays the front line. He soaks up the Malzahar ult and all the focus, but there, boom, Gorilla in. That's the multi-person knockup. Multiple charms right there, even grabs Uzi at the end, and the damage from BDD as well as Prey just wipes him off the map.
There was so much damage that poor Peanut tried to be part of the fight, but didn't even get to do anything. He was like running in with the Vel'Koz ult, being like, I'm here, guys, I'm helping, but they're all dead by the time he shows up.
Man, what an intense situation. And of course, you know, these pauses are difficult in the players. I mentioned the mental states a moment or two ago. There is so much weight. The players on Kingzone have already said multiple times this tournament, it's different. When you're one of three, there's other Korean teams that can carry the mantle. This has been the tournament of SK Telecom. They won the last 2 times.
They won the last 2 times. That's very important to highlight. And then, of course, EDG won the other one. So 2 winners so far during MSI. But a big thing for Kingzone and what they always talk about is the pressure on them, because internationally,
Yes.
these players have not all shown up. They got 3-0'd by Samsung in the quarterfinal without Peanut, of course, on the lineup. Prey and Gorilla in the past have not actually managed to win an international tournament. And now they're looking like a team that could actually lose this best of 5 and lose this final.
Maybe up until a few minutes ago, they were looking like a team that was going to lose it, based on the 4 games that we've seen. I want to take a closer look at Khan specifically, because he's been a bit polarizing, in my opinion. We've had some very good games. We've had some very questionable games. For a guy who was hyped up as sort of unquestionably the best top laner coming into the tournament, you know, how do you think he's performing? We just looked at his replay a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a man that has spread himself fairly thin over this tournament. As we mentioned, most unique champions played of any player here. He has often looked for the counter pick. We had failures of teleports. We had failures of some Vladimir play, but he has also had successes. And even though we had a very, very high bar for him coming in, which is why people look at some of the failures throughout the tournament, his successes do need to be noted, and he has done that just here.
Yeah, that's very true. And one of the things that kind of hurt Khan and the way he plays is the fact that BDD and Peanut have not been able to do what they did back in the LCK. You know, a lot of these champions that could push and roam actually got nerfed quite a bit, and it's been harder for BDD to find the champions to do it on. So he's gone for more carries like Irelia, Vel'Koz in this one, and then the game is less about Khan specifically, which is something that makes his playstyle less effective. And then also think, while we talk about all the unique champions, he's kind of forcing himself to try and find different things, because he doesn't play Ornn. which everyone else plays, and it's really effective. And his AP top laners, they kind of suck. So we don't want to see Vladimir from him either.
Yep.
And he's forced, if he wants to play carry, to find things like Fiora and Ilaoi.
Yeah, definitely the case. I mean, talking about Ornn, let me again. I mean, he's just got Ornn so many games this tournament. I think this is his 10th performance in 17 games, 18 games. That is a lot of Ornn. And talking about the playstyles, of course, Kingzone received a lot of early game pressure. There's been a number of teams that have stepped up and challenged them. RNG, this series, stepped up and challenged them. Our expectation was that they're going to be this late game team. Now they find themselves in a late game hole. I'm hearing we're a few minutes away, so hopefully that will be the case. How does RNG survive? I assume they cannot give up Baron, and I assume they don't really want to be the ones engaging in a choke point, like let's say around the steps of your inhibitor. That plays into Kingzone, so it's difficult.
Ideally for RNG, you're defending that top lane inhib turret, and it's actually Kingzone who's engaging onto you, so that you can maneuver around and don't sit in an Ilaoi ult.
That's why I think it's been so important that Gorilla hasn't been the one to make the first step. He's always waiting for that opening, because there are abilities that can stop him here, you know, if RNG are ready for the outplay. They have the Janna, they have the Ornn, they have the Malzahar, but Gorilla moves so quickly here once their attention is diverted.
And if we get a situation where Kingzone picks up another Baron, there's a great chance they get all 3 inhibs down. Then even if you can fight your way out, you might never get that team fight, because suddenly there are too many super minions for you to deal with. And that's kind of the last thing for Kingzone. And always the problem when you do fall behind is that you tend to only have one last chance all of a sudden, because the rest of your base is already dead.
Well, let's see whether or not Kingzone or RNG will have any more chances. We are back in game. As you can see, the gold graph, a quick update. It was very close for very long, and that gigantic nosedive in favor of Kingzone, pushing to 8K, was the Baron fight. We are back. Baron is spawning, and RNG, they're already in the pit.
Yep, they're first to it, and they want to burn it down. Here comes Kingzone.
Right, there's absolutely no time for disengage. Khan is going to flash away for safety. All of the Forge God found no targets, and Xiaohu is split off from the rest of RNG.
That's a huge part of RNG's team fight. The Ornn ultimate not available, and the minions aren't going to let them work with it.
There are super minions on the Nexus. We are back in the game, and we've gone straight to 110. RNG inside the Baron pit. Super minions out of the battle. But look at the fight. That's already a kill. Karsa is gone. Kingzone lose Gorilla, and it's Uzi that picks him up. The feathers are going back and forth. The Xiaohu dies. The Uzi is the last man alive, but he's being chased down. Killer flashes into the pit. How is he still alive? Uzi is doing it. Ilaoi tentacle, and Baron finish him off. But there are still supers on the Nexus turrets. There's a teleport coming out. Khan's going for the base.
Khan's going to try and finish this one himself. One man against one turret.
Oh man, but where is the support? And already RNG have been able to get away. Uzi keeps RNG alive.
Kind of. Khan's going to get to work on the inhibitor.
Khan gets the inhib, but there were too many minions for him to finish the game. Death timers here, 20 seconds on Xiaohu. Skana, 5 seconds. They're fighting again, BDD and Khan.
All right, it looks like Letney's going to be able to defend the middle inhibitor. We get a moment to breathe. I can only apologize about the pauses, but I will not apologize about the chaos and the intensity of the fight. Baron is another objective, and death timers are just resetting. Kingzone and RNG, they're going to go right back to it.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have time for that replay, because Kingzone are back out onto the Baron, but I want to see it, because I felt like as soon as Let Me went in and got the big knockup, Uzi flashed out into the Baron pit, and that was the last we saw of him. Kingzone, though, they're keeping it stable here. Here come RNG up through the blue quadrant of the jungle and past the vision.
See with the QSS here, Praise seems to still be on cooldown for a short amount of time. Xiaohu is on his way for him!
Oh, that's straight onto Prey! Call of the Forge God comes out as well as Killer Instinct. Royal never give up on doing it! They get a double kill on Uzi. They're looking for the tower.
All game with eyes on Gorilla, and RNG spent everything to finally hit him first.
2 seconds on that QSS, but it wasn't ready in time. They're pushing now into the base. Xiaohu on his way back to TP.
Look at the death timers. It's 40 seconds on BDD. It's 33 on Prey. Peanut's trying to cut the wave. The inhibitor turret is the focus, and now is Peanut. Ragnarok to try and escape. The inhibitor will fall middle. There goes Let Me Soul. It's caught up by Khan. Khan gets jumped by. He's got the ultimate available. Gorilla is not going to be able to save him. And Kingzone's base is in tatters for the first time ever. RNG is chasing success. Royal France as they are cheering for Uzi. Royal never give up in elation.
Uzi walking out towards his cup, towards his destiny to claim his first international victory.
Royal never give up on your MSI 2018 champions. It is beautiful to behold the happiness as the crownless king now rules the world. LPL Spring Miracle Run, taking every single opponent down that China had to offer, and now the world too.
And what a year for the best player in the world, Uzi. He decides it in the last big team fight. He survives for so long, and in the end, RNG find a way back into this game, and they destroy Kingzone.
And that man right next to him, Xiaohu, they see prey in the middle of the map. He runs straight for him with the Shirelias, calling down Orn, and they find victory.
Seeing MLXG take to the stage at the end, cheering, happy, hugging was amazing. And to present the medals, I'd like to welcome Shox and Nicolas Laurent, CEO of Riot Games and French National. Shox and Nicolas award RNG their medals.
This man, he deserves it. Kaza ended up playing all the games in the final, and what a performance.
Waiting to hear Zenith go mad. Has become the year of Uzi.
Year of the dog for sure. They called the strategy raising the puppy from the first time we saw him on the stage. Now he's able to take it all the way. Well-deserved medals.
Beautiful to see the coaching staff and LXG as well celebrating. Casa cannot believe it. After years and years of playing with the Flash Wolves, 2018, he moved to the LPL, he moved to RNG. And with the team, Casa wins LPL Championship. With RNG, they rule the world. Congratulations to RNG. We're going to head downstairs to Shox for the winner's interview.
Thank you very much.